Hi, welcome to Movie Review Mom. I'm the mom and I review movies. And my goal is to help you by giving you the scoop, giving you the heads up on the quality of the filmmaking and the content inside the movie so you can make the best decision for yourself and your family about whether or not you want to spend your time and or your money by watching a specific film. So today the movie I'm reviewing is the Croods, A New Age, or as a lot of people are calling it, The Croods 2. It's a sequel. So the movie is rated PG. It's an hour and 35 minutes. And the movie review mom grade I'm giving it is an A. Yay. It's actually super cute. This is a very colorful sequel to the fun animated adventure, The Croods. And by the way, it is in theaters now. And the good news is if you don't feel comfortable going into theaters just yet, or theaters are closed in your area, the studio has promised that it should be out within about 2 weeks on paid for video on demand. So yay. And it really is a super cute movie, especially one to watch with your family. Now, this movie was actually put on hold back in 2016 by Universal Studios. And it's actually the longest we've ever had to wait for a DreamWorks sequel, 7.5 years. But I think it might have been worth the wait. This is Joel Crawford's directorial debut. So kudos to Joel for knocking it out of the park on the first go. It's a great family-friendly film that has humor for all ages. So no matter how old you are, I think you're going to laugh out loud. I know I did. And in a COVID world, this is a delightful distraction. Now, let me give you some tips for parents, and I'll point out some themes worth talking about with your kids if you choose to watch it with them, as well as things I liked, things I didn't like, and then I'll offer a few recommendations at the end. So, some tips for parents. You see some shirtless men and some men in underwear. Now, calm down. They're animated men. Of course, this is an animated movie, and it's done in a way that's really humorous. There are also some women who wear low cut dresses and revealing outfits, but again, they're in animation. The whole thing's animation. There are people and creatures in perilous situations. There's some name calling, lots of punching in Act 3, and that's part of the story. You'll see what I mean. And then there's an interesting way that the movie deals with profanity. Now, there is no profanity. However, there's one scene where somebody mouths the words, "What the F?" But of course, you don't hear anything. And then there's another scene where there's a character who is just going ballistic and starts shouting out obscenities. I mean, you know that they are, but you don't hear them. You don't necessarily see her lips moving either to identify what the obscene words are that she's saying. But the way that it's handled is every time you know that a bad word might be popping out of her mouth, there are other sound effects going on in the scene that drown out any words that you might hear. So it's actually kind of cleverly done. And what's even more interesting is during that scene, another character breaks the fourth wall, looks at the audience and says, "This movie's for older kids," which was so unexpected and made me laugh out loud. So there's that. Now, there are plenty of themes that are worth talking about. First of all, change can be a good thing. And in this COVID world, hopefully we've learned that lesson, right? That not all change is bad and that we can learn from change. Also, another theme is female empowerment. And you pretty much can't even have a movie nowadays without female empowerment thrown in as a lesson. You'll learn about the Thunder Sisters in Act 3. Other themes are courage, stronger together, family togetherness, unity, teamwork, but also jealousy and competition. Now, two lines that are spoken that also kind of reveal the themes of the movie are one line spoken by Eep, who's voiced by the lovely Emma Stone, and she says, "The pack stays together." And several people mention that or say that exact line as well, and that's a certain mentality, and the pack stays together and stronger together. And yet there's some dividing moments in the movie where they have to decide how important is that, and do they really believe it, and to what lengths will they go to secure that philosophy. Anyway, and then another line spoken by Catherine Keener, she says, follow the light and you'll find tomorrow. And that's actually also reiterated several times, and as kind of a deep, profound lesson of the movie. Follow that light and you'll find tomorrow and happiness. Anyway, I thought that that was really good. Now, there were plenty of other things that I liked. First of all, the animation is stunning. It's colorful and bright and detailed and ornate, really, even though the setting is in prehistoric times, so you'd think it would be very rough and dirty and grimy, but it's the opposite. And in fact, this movie has some of the best voice to facial expression matches that we've ever seen. I mean, the lip movement matches what you're hearing and seeing beautifully, and that's super impressive. The voice talents are fantastic. For starters, Ryan Reynolds voices a guy named Guy, who becomes Eep's new love interest. Now, that's not a big spoiler. You see that in the trailer, but it's pretty cute. And their relationship takes a few hits as they try to discover what their true feelings are for each other. A lot of millennials and Gen Zs actually make fun of Nicolas Cage for whatever reason. I think my generation has always liked him, but they would have to admit that he does a really great job voicing this prehistoric dad named Grug in the movie. It's over the top, which is perfect for this character. He just is perfect for this character. And did you know this is his 100th film? So kudos to Nick. I also really loved Cloris Leachman's performance. I've loved her for years, and it's always a pleasure to see her, and or in this case, hear her. She's the voice of the character Gran. She plays as grandma. Anyway, can you believe she is 94 years old? That's amazing. Another adorable character is voiced by the lovely Leslie Mann. Her voice is so doggone sweet. And I've loved her in all of the movies that she's been in. And by the way, be on the lookout for an upcoming movie that she stars in 2021 called Blythe Spirit. I've already pre-screened the movie, but I won't be posting my review for a few more weeks yet. But anyway, she's beautiful and very cute in that movie as well. And she is full on live action, like she's acting. It's not just her voice. Other fun voices are those by Peter Dinklage, who also gives us a hilarious new character. As I mentioned, Emma Stone and Kelly Marie Tran, who actually kind of surprises with her voice talent. She's perfect. So many cute visual and spoken gags, totally adorable sloth sidekicks. And the moment where one character says seatbelt mode and the sloth goes into seatbelt mode just cracked me up. I mean, you can't go wrong with sloths. They're just adorable and hilarious. There's a moment in the movie where two girls squeal with delight at about 100 decibels, which just, again, made me laugh out loud. It was hilarious. And to watch everybody else's reaction, I thought was pretty cute. Just lots of fun creatures, new characters. It gives new meaning to man cave. There are land sharks and very creative creatures in the movie that you'll see. Rapid fire, nonstop action. And even for the adults, you'll get a few Easter eggs from the movie Mad Max Fury Road. So look out for those. And then, in addition to all of the chaos and mayhem that is nonstop, there are actually quite a few insightful moments that are quick but kind of hit you like, whoa. For example, there's this discussion about a mother and a daughter, and they're the original Croods, and the daughter has all these scars, and she's showing them to her friend. She got this one from fighting a tiger, and this one from fighting another creature, just, out in the prehistoric world. And then she and her mother talk about the internal scars, the wounds that are very real and painful, but you can't see them. And I was like, wow, a, that's really powerful and something you definitely want to talk to your kids about. And then there's a running gag throughout the movie that also offers some insight. So there's a character, and he's just fascinated with the idea that you can be inside a house and look out the window and see the outside. He just thinks that's amazing. And so he actually sits by the window looking out as if to replicate how we look when we're watching TV or addicted to our screen time. And so it's an interesting and insightful social commentary. Now, I was worried about two characters, and I don't want to give it away, so no spoilers here, but there are two characters, and I thought, oh, this story could take a very ugly, cliched turn, but I was delighted when it went a different direction, and I was like, yay! So it's very, very sweet. Okay, the clue is it involves two teenage girls. Okay, so there you go. Now, there were a few things that I didn't like, but hardly anything. First of all, if you have not seen the first movie, or it's been 7.5 years and you don't remember exactly what happened, there is not a quick recap to get you back up to speed. But not to worry, this really is a standalone film. You can absolutely enjoy this movie having not seen the first one, or if you don't remember all of the characters, you catch on very quickly. And like I said, you're really not going to miss that much because there's some new character growth and development, that kind of stuff. Now, another thing that bothered me was that there's so much frenzied action and stuff going on in every single scene that I wanted to slow things down so that I could really examine and appreciate all the little details in each frame. And I love directors that put in lots of details. It just adds to the richness. And this movie has so much to look at, but it happens so fast. It's just constantly moving. And I was like, wait, rewind. I want to see that again. That's a good complaint, right? That there's so much good content. And then one complaint I have, which I have often in many Hollywood movies, is that men are just shown as incompetent fools, whereas the women always save the day. Now, I'm a mom of 4 sons, and so I would love for them to have better role models and not be poked fun of or assumed that they're just going to be bumbling around while the women do the really important work, that kind of thing. The tone of Act 3 is very different from Acts 1 and 2. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I read some reviews where people were like, oh, the end ruined it for me. And others were like, that was unexpected, but totally fun. So just kind of a heads up on that. I was like, oh, okay. And it didn't ruin it for me. I mean, again, I enjoyed it, but it was just different than what I thought was going to happen. So overall, the movie is very, very cute. Although a lot of critics are saying it's not fresh or original. We've seen these types of characters and stories before. And while that might be true, during this pandemic, I think we're all looking for a delightful distraction that we can watch with our families, talk about the lessons that we learned afterwards, and feel good, right? And so mission accomplished for this movie. Now, every time I watch a movie, I always write down the funny lines or the interesting lines, and I include them in my written review that you can find at moviereviewmom.com. So you can run over there if you want to see more of my comments, but I'll share a couple of them with you right here. Okay, so the first one is actually funny and profound at the same time. So Thunk, who's voiced by Clark Duke, is the one who's addicted to watching the window. And at the very end, he says, perhaps the window through which I view the world is flawed. And it just made me laugh out loud. And actually, he says insightful things like that throughout the entire movie. He's just kind of this dopey character, and you're just like surprised whenever these brilliant things come out of his mouth. And then another one is said by Guy, who's voiced by Ryan Reynolds, and he says, words as weapons. And what happens in this movie is, we know and love the Croods. They're this prehistoric caveman family. And now in this movie, they meet another family called the Bettermans because they are better men. Not super clever, but it definitely gets the idea across. Anyway, they do everything better and they invent things. And so it's cute because they have a lot of the day-to-day luxury items that we have, but they're kind of still in a primitive world. So it's cute, but they're learning all these new concepts like, wow, words as weapons. What an interesting idea. And again, a very good insight. And then finally, my recommendations are, of course, to see the Croods if you haven't seen that first one. Some people are saying the first one was still better. Others are saying, no, no, this one is much better than the first. So you could be the judge of that. They're both very cute. Of course, the Ice Age franchise, if you really are digging on the prehistoric type of vibe. And then another movie about families that is so, so cute. One of my all time favorites is The Incredibles. Love that franchise. And then finally, How to Train Your Dragon. That's also a very sweet franchise, and it just ended. So if you want to catch up on all of those. And before I forget, because I'm posting this on a Saturday, called Small Business Saturday, in fact, I would encourage you to run over to my Patreon page. And I have all kinds of gifts and different tier levels if you want to support me as a small business. I really appreciate that. And in exchange, well, not in exchange, it's for anybody. I have a free book that is available today and tomorrow on Amazon Kindle. I'll put the link in the description below so you can run over there and snag that before that offer is gone. All right, I hope you enjoy this movie. If you watch it, I think you will. And until I see you in the next movie review, bye for now.